What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. What day is it? You know I don't be knowing what day it is. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Ain't a whole lot going on over here. I've been trying to get my house prepared, for this next holiday. There's babies and things in here, so we baby proofing things because babies is fast, especially when they start walking. And so all the things, I feel like I'm mostly baby proof, but I did buy a gate for my kitchen to keep, my grandson wrangled because, although he just started walking, them little feet move very fast. So yeah, that's what we've been doing around here today. Nothing spectacular. I did watch Married to Medicine, and I'm feeling like, you know, let's get into it. It's season 12. It's episode 2. Y'all, before we get started, like the video, subscribe to the channel. El Cid is already over here in the bushes. What's up, El Cid? And she says, please like, share, and subscribe. That's very important. It's like saying hello. You just come in, you say hello, you hit the like button, and then we get into the conversation. If you got some things to say, like hop on in this chat and let me know what you're thinking. I think that where we at season 12, I think it's time to, refigure what it is we doing over here. I feel like Bravo and a lot of the other, networks just be throwing people in. Don't sit down without a like. Yeah, go ahead and like it and then sit down, enjoy yourself, relax. You can even be in the bushes with El Cid. Um, yeah, I think they sometimes lose track. They start throwing people in. El Cid, I know this is your girl. They threw Phaedra in there for no good darn reason. Pretended like she was a Reiki, whatever the hell she was supposed to be doing over there. This season, they have added some other aspects of medicine, which I do like. I do like that it's not all doctors. It's a whole group of people, different facets of medicine that make the world go round. Um, Quad's friend Angel, I'm guessing she's just nurses have very many titles, but I'm thinking that she's working more with patients and um, not necessarily the cosmetic kind. Brittany is more of a cosmetic med spa. Yeah, Phaedra is your girl. Phaedra's not here anymore. She back over in the housewives. Over here, we have the very elitist Dr. Jackie, the very ignorant and loud Dr. Simone, and some other fillers. We got Quad. Quad is no longer Married to Medicine, but I feel like Quad is a staple here. We always be trying to figure out what to do with Quad. We're not trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure it out. So I don't know. I feel like, as production, and like I said, this can go across the board with all these reality shows. Reality shows have come to a place where they need a revamp on how we look at them, because we're very much onto the tricks, the production tricks and the editing tricks. We're onto it. So, I think it's just time to do something a little different in terms of how you're doing your storytelling. This storytelling over here is the same story that's been regurgitated year after year after year after year. I'm not sure why we're here. Where did we leave off that we're here in this space? Because nothing about this is new, is old, is tired. And y'all are in episode 2, and the people don't have a whole lot of good to say about it. I feel like very few of us even reviewed the first episode. Now, I'm not the one to come over here every time complaining, but I had to get that off my chest because I feel like, yeah, we need to figure out a new way. Be creative, y'all. Stop AI and everything. Y'all AI everything, and now you just don't know, how to do nothing. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we're gonna start this episode with Eugene and Toya. Toya is luxuriating in her lovely home. Her boys are old enough to, take care of themselves for the most part. And she's out by the pool. I think Eugene and Toya have hit a sweet spot in that he's working away. He comes home. He's excited to like get his groove on, and her too. Like that's what she's been waiting for this whole time. They don't have to see each other every day. He doesn't have to bring his tired, exhausted self. He can come home, get some rest, and be prepared to deal with Toya when he get home. They can do date things. They covered that last season. Like she let him know, like she wants dates that she likes and not the kind of dates that he likes. So I feel like, yeah, they can focus on that. He can work and pay for their home, and she could keep it lovely for him. It's beautiful, child. It's a nice house. Well, Toya has had several houses, a whole lot of houses. They all been nice. So, kudos to Toya, because I feel like, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Toya is carrying, I don't want to say carrying the season because it just got started, but she's carrying the story where we can like move into a different place. I liked Eugene, and I feel like marriage is something that has to be worked on year after year. These two were quite young when they came over here. They're in their 40s now, early 40s, maybe mid, I'm not sure, but they're in a place, like I said, it's a sweet spot. They still like each other. So, and shout out to Toya and Eugene. Even though Toya usually gets on my damn nerves, I feel like I want to go over to her closet and sit under the cherry blossom tree. Anyway, she's filling him in on everything that happened at Mimi's party, Mimi and Steve's polo garden party. He wasn't there. He had to work, and I feel like work is going to keep him out of a lot of mess this season. He can just come back and let her tell him what happened. Hopefully she won't be in the middle of it. She probably will, because that's what she does. But anyway, she tells him about the party. She tells him that Heavenly was not there, and Heavenly is usually at everything. So what's going on with Heavenly? Why wasn't she here? And we know why she wasn't here. We go get into that. She's also said that Heavenly is running for a political office. And they're like, what? Eugene's like, as what? She's going to be the state representative. And I felt like Toya thought Dr. Jackie was being shady the same way I thought Dr. Jackie was being shady. Like, she did not sound like she was being very supportive of her friend. But yeah, that's what Dr. Jackie do. She puts women down. She's just a woman hater. She's a miserable old troll. Like, are y'all walking past her bridge? Because she won't let you go over the bridge without, I don't know what she needs you to do over there. Anyway, they flash back to all the times that Heavenly was arguing with somebody. And I guess so, Toya's point is like, Heavenly is a hot ass mess out here. She gonna say it and then she gonna take it back. You know what I'm saying? She goes very low, and now politics is something different. Now her image is something that she has to be concerned about, something that she ain't never had to worry about before. People kill me, get on these reality shows, and then don't want to like talk about the realities. Bad things happen. You have to talk about them too. Quad came over here. She lost a family member. I feel like people have been open about things. Quad came over here, went through a divorce. Y'all were mad because she wasn't telling the business. Like, I feel like she was giving as much as she could. We know that what's his name? Dr. G was over there being violent towards her. Them towards each other, But anyway, she's been sharing things. So, even though she ain't sharing all her time with Simone, we know a lot about what Quad has had going on. Anyway, Toya's all like, who gonna vote for Heavenly? And Eugene is like, based on the way the current administration operates, like anybody can get in there. So don't be surprised if Heavenly gathers a crew of people to, vote for her. This is the thing with Heavenly. Like, she just switched gears, and I think that happens, you know what I'm saying, to people that get in a place that they feel like they want to. I don't know what her motivation was really for going this political route, but what I do know is if you're going to do it, because she's been doing interviews talking about, I didn't know who those people was, so she didn't have any real education about what the job is. I'm hoping she's educated herself. She talks about how smart she is. I mean, you could be smart and have a big mouth. So that's that. My concern is that she operates a lot in the same way that Dr. Jackie does. We try to make Dr. Jackie seem so poised, but she's a lot like Heavenly, just saying whatever the hell she wants to say. So yeah, like I mean, I think he's right. I just feel like having Quad as your campaign manager doesn't make sense to me because I mean, she over here thonged out, booty out, looking like all these hot girls are my friends. I want her to stop doing that every time Angel walks into the room. Yes, Angel's beautiful. Yes, Angel's your friend. What else does she have? Because we ain't seen, nothing yet. I mean, we're not holding that against her. We just getting started. So, but all hail to Angel, I guess, according to damn Quad. Heavenly is actually here this week, so this is her and Dr. Damon acting because it's not like they haven't had these conversations already. You're not going to convince me that they haven't already discussed the fact that she plans to run for, a political office. But she's showing him her website and she's giving us the rundown of all of her accomplishments to let her know that she's qualified for this position, for this, to hold office. Like I said, it's not my district. It's not my vote. I would hope that Dr. Heavenly would go over there and not be driven by, the same shady politics that we've been dealing with. She's one person. So yeah, it takes every little bit to make change. I think, and I'm not by any means comparing Dr. Heavenly to Shirley Chisholm. All I'm saying is Shirley Chisholm went up there all by herself and fought the fight, black woman and all those non-melanated men. There wasn't even a whole lot of women. There's a picture of her and all these white men. And I'm like, that had to be one hell of a fight. So I think you need somebody on your team, though, Dr. Heavenly, that's not Quad. Like Quad, don't know what she has to do with politics besides, getting the girls to get out here and try to be hot girls and things. I don't know. Heavenly and Damon discussed their son getting arrested. Now, I did not know that this was the Damon, the one at the dentist office. I thought this was the son that we never see. So this polite boy, is he the same one that was over there at Lake Lanier buying property? Like everything we've seen of his accomplishments, have been something to be proud of. So I don't know what kind of hot-headed thing he was doing over there, but it resulted in him in an altercation with the police and him getting arrested. And like I said, rich kid things because his dad, the surgeon, had some type of, encounter with the police officer. So he was able to go over there and keep him out of the public. I guess he got arrested, but the story got kept because the story happened. When did she say it was? 2022, 23? Anyway, 22, I think she said. So Heavenly's sitting up here trying to act like she did not know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that she just found out. She may have not found out when it happened, but she didn't find out when it hit the news. But when it hit the news, she went off on that boy. Now she's claiming, I found out on social media. I don't even believe her because he's in the confessional saying, I already told you. So did he tell you or not tell you? I think they just don't want to talk about it. She wants to act oblivious because, I don't know, maybe she thought she could get through this political channel without that ever coming up. At the end of the day, it has no reflection on her, capabilities to run whatever office it is she's running for. That's not, as a parent, you do the best you can. And this boy is raised with all kinds of privilege and still he out here being a hothead, probably a spoiled rich kid. Because, he did have an altercation with the police. This was not an altercation with someone, it was the cops. So, and I see a lot of people, we know that there's, very, especially now that ICE has been added to the mix, there's, a target on people of color when it comes to law enforcement. You have to be very careful. However, I also see a lot of people doing stupid shit just to antagonize, and make a situation worse than it has to be. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know what this kid was on. Like I said, rich kid shit. Um, that story went out and she snapped on him. Now we don't know what she said to him, but she probably been getting on his nerves for a very long time. And so she snapped on him. He packed his things and left. And young man, maybe that's the best thing you should have done. Maybe you should figure out for yourself, what it's like out here now. I don't know where he moved to, but she says she hasn't talked to him in months. Clearly, he's still talking to his father, which I think, Damon, are you encouraging the mending of this relationship, or are you just letting your son like be out there saying F mom, and that's not cool? So I feel like she was asking him like for some help to bridge the gap, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do that." So I don't know what she said, but it must have been something serious because the boy left and he ain't talked to her, not in months. Um, Contessa and Scott's building. Listen, the contractors dragging things out, and I told y'all that's how that thing goes. Sometimes they be trying to find things and reasons, taking up other jobs, using your money to go buy, supplies for other jobs. That's not all contractors, but contractors a lot of times don't have the best reputation. So you literally have to look for somebody that did work for somebody else that has a reputation that you can somewhat trust. Contessa says she's losing patience though, and I don't understand. I feel like doctors, you're not working in a temporary location. You're just telling your patients 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, because that doesn't make sense. I know I've had to work in a temporary location before. I was going into my own studio, and the date, it didn't happen as quickly as we thought. I feel like there was probably 2 or 3 weeks more than I anticipated. So I had to find somewhere to service my clients. In the meantime, I was able to do that. I was able to find a salon to work out of temporarily. The owner knew that I was waiting on my studio. She just caught that extra commission, you know what I'm saying, for a while I was there. So I'm not understanding why she's like, they're not going to wait for me. That doesn't make sense, Contessa. Are you just being dramatic? I don't know. Scott doesn't seem to be stressed. Scott seems to feel like, he could budget this way. Scott, do you know Todd? We're not going to do that. We're not going to cut corners because according to Contessa, once we get this, done, finished, the contractors walk out the door, we could go ahead and start renting these spaces. Dr. Eugene and Toya are looking to rent a space. And that's the bomb as far as I'm concerned. That is so dope that they would take their business over there. That's how you, that's how you black out. You go ahead and support. She says she ain't worried about Contessa being no bad landlord. So I want to see this happen. I do like, as much as I don't really care for Contessa, and as much as I don't want to hear anything about their marriage, their relationship at home, I do want to see this. I do want to see this whole journey of, what it takes. A lot of people are out here talking about what they're going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And now you're seeing like, when you're talking about, sorry, I needed to get the plug to plug this in. When you're talking about $1.8 million, it's not like an extra 1.8. They didn't turn in 401ks, and they have invested all of their money in this, and so they are actively like working to pay this. And it is what it is. I just want to see them. I want to see the finished product. So yeah. If we're going to be over here dealing with Scott and Contessa, let's focus on that because, we don't care what they got going on in their household. They have decided to work on things. So there's that. Simone goes to visit Dr. Brittany for some microabrasion, some type of cosmetic surgery. Brady has 4 children and she's married, obviously. And, she's saying, can you do it all? I guess. I think, if I were going to do any of these like med spa services, I hear a lot of people say that I would feel way more comfortable under the care of somebody with medical training. You know what I'm saying? Not just somebody that took a class on how to do the microdermabrasion, sperm, salmon facials and things. Some stuff I just don't think I would do. She's doing Botox. Some of that is, a little bit invasive and something that I would want to nurse or somebody when I'm going to get my checkups, follow-ups and things. So a lot of money to be made over there also. She says she used to work for Dr. Damon. So we know Dr. Damon has an excellent reputation in the medical industry. And so probably not a bad person to mentor under. She says she gonna always go up for Dr. Damon. Um, Also, I feel like when you're talking about facials and different procedures, like the ones that because this is more than just a facial. These procedures that you can get over at Dr. Brittany's office, it's nice to have somebody who understands melanated skin too. A lot of times, like everything ain't everything. You know what I'm saying? The pigmentation of it all. So I think sometimes we have a tendency to keloid and other things like that when you're talking about scars. So yeah, shout out to Dr. Brandy. Want to see more of her. I'm not sure like how she's gonna fit in. I think it's cool that she's Toya's friend. And I would like to see it like blossom. Toya, don't be over here talking to this lady like she crazy. Because Toya's mouth is kind of disrespectful sometimes the way she says things. So you got Dr. Mimi and Steve. You got Brittany, Brandy. Is it Brandy or Brittany? Anyway, her and her new husband. You have Angel, which we haven't had a chance to see what Angel is doing over there, but she was one of the basketball wives. And since you got Twad in her hot girl sector, it's cool or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something else. Y'all have like the ingredients. We just need to see which direction we're going. And what direction we need to go is away from Heavenly, Simone, and Dr. Jackie. Let's ease on away from them because they're not doing nothing positive over there. Heavenly is over here running for office, lying and being obnoxious, like she always has. Quad, I happen to like Quad, and let's see what she got going. If she's not marrying medicine, at least she's hanging out with medicine. Angel is her medicine. So, that's the connection over there. You got a younger group of people. So let's see how, you can integrate them. Cecil's good at integrating, but Simone is not. Um, while at the doctor's office, Toya gets a call from home that her dog actually drowned, which is very sad. I'm not sure if she had a pool at the other house. I feel like she's always had a pool. So I don't know what happened in this situation. She said, the housekeeper went in the house and to change the laundry or something, and that fast the dog, drowned in the pool. When I got my dog, my little dog, my old man, he's 14 this month. Um, Poor thing. He's just moving around like a 14-year-old. He walking into the walls, can't see, but he's still hanging in there. When I first got him, because he's part poodle, part Japanese chin. So even at his old age, he's 7 pounds soaking wet. The vet told me, and I don't remember how it came up, but the vet told me that we needed to teach him how to get out of the pool because those little dogs like that, I mean, big dogs too, I would assume. When you have a dog, if you have a pool, you have to teach them. I'm not saying that Toya didn't do that. I'm just saying this was my experience and what I was told. You have to teach them how to get out of the pool in case they fall in and you're not there to get them out. My little dog hated the pool. He did not like it. Um, so we had to show him where the stairs were on the side of the pool and like on both sides. Like so he knew how to get his ass to them stairs so he could get out of there. And we did that training like for a while until he was good at like, he always hated it. You throw him in the pool and he wants to get out. My big dog, we haven't taken him in the water, but I have a feeling he has a different feeling towards the water, so he would probably actually love it. Um, Anyway, that's sad. That sucks. It's hard to watch your pets get old, but when you like leave your house and get some tragic news like that, that sucks. So, um, she has a dog funeral. And I know you people be loving your dogs. I love my dogs too. To some people, I mean, to some extent, they are family members. They're definitely part of the family. However, I'm not coming to your dog funeral. I'll send you some flowers or something, but there's nothing I don't go to people funerals hardly. So I'm not coming over there, with my dog who would have ran through there and tore that thing down. Um, yeah, I mean, I suppose Toya is that girl, that has different things. And if that's the closure she needed, I'm guessing that was her dog. When you have a dog, if you're not a dog person, they pick a person in the house. And you might get the dog for yourself, but the dog decides who's their person. And so Toya was probably his person. And if this is what she needed to do to get over, the loss of her animal, so be it. Um, yeah, we're episode 2 and we're having dog funerals. I mean, the dog actually passed away, so I'm not trying to be insensitive. I'm just saying. Um, Jackie is hosting a sexy event. Jackie is the most unsexy person on this show, so having her do this makes no sense to me. Y'all always want somebody to show up in their underpants and their lingerie. Now they having on sexy clothes. Be sexy in some heels. Why, Dr. Jackie? It just doesn't. There's just so many other things. I feel like there's so many things that we could be doing as a group. And that's not get your heels on and come do a sexy dance. Ciao. Anyway, that's what she had them doing. Um, Same old nonsense as always. Quad arrives with her ass cheeks out. Her and Angel are, in their actual booty cheeks out clothing. It was a cat suit situation. Dr. Jackie showed up in some latex. It didn't make her sexy. So I was watching this thinking, Sweet Tea's at home watching this. Not here. Watching her friends or who she thought was her friends all be over here. Simone, who was at your house, is sitting up here sobbing and crying still because Quad cut her. You gave me your ass to kiss. We know. We know. How many years have we been saying that? Since before Dr. Heavenly's son went to jail. We've been saying that. Anyway. Yeah, Desiree does this old lady stiff choreography. Oh my God. Why is Contessa over there doing the splits? And she couldn't even do it. You ain't splitting for Scott. Girl, you over here working your ass off to get this building done. And that's what you should be doing. We want us to come over here in the middle of the day with some high heels on to prance around for Dr. Jackie in her S&M outfit. After the stiff dancing, Jackie wants everybody to sit down and answer questions. Her and Simone and these questions. I snooped through my husband's phone. That was the question, I guess. And Toya was the only one that was honest. They all sat up there looking like they don't snoop through their husband's phone. Everybody has done it. They've all done it. So stop it. Dr. Jackie, I want to. Yeah, you don't want to. Don't do it because you don't know what's happening with him and whoever he's talking to over in the DR. This one is personal, she said. Simone would not have gone to Quad's party regardless of when she was asked. I don't think Simone was going to that party. Simone and Quad left the reunion hollering at each other, calling each other motherfuckers and things. So I just don't see that being a thing. But she says that's not true. Simona says that's not true. You waited at the last minute. That lets me know you didn't want me there. No, I did not. Y'all were talking shit, and if you shade me, I'm going to shade you back. That's the narrative to this story. I feel like we've heard it. Everybody says they've heard it. The contestants like, we've done this 25 times. Why are we still here talking about why these people have gave you their ass to kiss? Literally. Quad came in there with her ass cheeks out for you to kiss. And Simone got her lips perched up, ready to do it. I don't know. Her obsession with Quad is a little, weird to me. I don't know if it's jealousy. I feel like it is jealousy. I feel like Dr. Simone is not a hot girl. She's a loud girl. I don't know that she was ever attached to Quad, ever, the way she's trying to make it seem like. Because when they show the flashbacks, all you see is Simone telling Quad how not to be. Don't be this, don't be that, as if you're the role model to be different. Quad and Mariah were friends for real, I think. And then when they got rid of Mariah, Quad was just feeling her way around. And Simone, you were not it. Not like her bestie. Clearly, she likes a different type of bestie. That's why she keeps bigging up Angel every time she walks into the room. That's my friend. That's my friend. Girl, we know. She's like one of Portia's friends. Child, who shaded who? It didn't take long. Simone went immediately to 10. So, and like I said, nobody wants to hear it except Dr. Jackie. Now they both crying. Yeah, and we're tired of this. I don't know. Jackie pipes in talking about, thing is, what y'all don't know is these two people love each other. They don't. Like I said, I don't know that they ever have. They certainly don't love each other now. But since Dr. Jackie wants to be bringing things up, let's check out what happened. Dr. Jackie, in the last episode, looked at that lady in her face and said, do you have an enlarged thyroid, or whatever she said to that lady that was super disrespectful, especially since she just met her. So now she out here being rude.
In the moment, it was settled, but once again,
I'm gonna go over here too.
I feel like both of y'all. More people I meet, it's like, oh, I see Dr. Jackie. Oh, I see. It's like both of y'all. Y'all, everybody know y'all.
And she used to work at Northside. You do realize that?
But you where? In interventional radiology. Yes. I was an MT in IR.
Is your thyroid enlarged?
Thyroid enlarged.
Hey, is your neck enlarged? Bitch, no.
So maybe she didn't know it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew it. She knew.
Toya did say that sometimes Jackie will give, that little subtle shade.
I was just staring at it.
Did not do that. And then she's like, what? I see it. We good. I feel like both of y'all. More people I meet, it's like,
Brandy responded.
So I just got off of work, been seeing patients all day, just put the kids to bed, but had to address some of this married to medicine craziness. Okay. Which I roll in there with my little cute pink dress. I think I look beautiful, meeting all these people for the first time. And then out of the blue, I get asked,
is your thyroid enlarged? Hey, is your neck enlarged? Bitch, no.
So maybe she didn't know it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she knew it. She knew.
Toya did say that sometimes Jackie will give, that little subtle shade.
million Americans suffer for some type of thyroid condition. And 60% have no clue like me. I had no clue until I was pregnant with my twins. My labs went crazy. My hormones went crazy. Like everything went out of whack. I now know that I have a condition that I never knew about, and my hormones exacerbated it, right? So that's why this is such an important issue. It's important to have these conversations so that we're educated and we're made aware, right? I've been a nurse practitioner for 15 years. Like, I educate my patients. Like, we really dive deep into what's going on with them. We do comprehensive lab work. I've diagnosed so many people with thyroid conditions that they never knew even existed. So that's why I love what I do. That's why I love pouring into other people. And that's why it's important to watch your words. You never know what somebody else is going through or what their story is. But what we can't do is use our expertise to shame someone else for what they have going on or what we perceive that they have going on. But what you can do is catch us next Sunday on Married to Medicine at 9:00 on Bravo, and come see your girl at Conquer Aesthetics. Million Americans.
What a classy way to address Dr. Jackie and her ignorance. So this is how Dr. Jackie responded to what Brandy had to say.
In the moment, it was settled, but once it aired, is that when you feel like it became the most problem?
Yeah, because we had talked about it. And she never said, she said it. I even kept saying, I am so sorry. So, but that's what you do. Got to get your name out there.
Now, is that shade?
Got to be relevant somehow. And if I can help you, I can help you.
I know that's right.
Yeah, no problem. We're typically laughing and playing and talking about things out of scene. And then when you get back in scene, the audience didn't hear those conversations. So oftentimes they feel like shady conversations, but we already had the conversation. And then some of the ladies will take an opportunity to turn you into an example when I had already talked to you about some issues.
I feel like you were just in doctor mode.
All the time. If I could have just reached out and pulled, I don't know why right then, but I was staring. I was literally staring. And the doctor just spoke at the wrong time in the wrong place. I own it. I own it totally. It was definitely no shade. And you know, when we do shades, we find other attributes. It ain't medical when we're throwing shade. So it really was not intended to offend her. I actually reached out to her and said, I thought we were good. I didn't know we were. I'm sorry. All the time.
So she's not even a little bit, she's not sorry. She's over here saying that the lady took the opportunity to try to shine. What she did was let us all know about what it is to have a thyroid issue. I know, like when I'm, at work, a lot of times I deal with women, not with the enlarged thyroid in the neck, but a lot of times I deal with women whose hair is just shedding and shedding and shedding. And I'll have the conversation with them. Like, I'm not a doctor, but this is like a lot of times attached to your thyroid. You might want to see a doctor and get that checked out, because thyroid is about balance. They get medication to kind of keep things in order. So Dr. Jackie is the lowest of the low. And then you're like, we had a conversation and I thought we were good. Well, I don't know you. And then to say, oh my God, she blamed it on menopause. Dr. Jackie is a low down, dirty dog. And what she wanted to do was let this young lady know that a nurse practitioner is not on her level. So I can look at you and tell you have a thyroid. Is it enlarged? I mean, Dr. Jackie, take your Skeletor self somewhere and sit down. I thought that was so rude. And I'm glad Ms. Brandy came back and very classy way let her know that that's not what we're doing. And I'm going to take this opportunity to let you know that having a baby gets your hormones all out of whack. And as a woman, that maybe you will deal with some of these things. Unlike Dr. Jackie, who likes to point out things to make you feel uncomfortable and embarrassed. I think we need to start pointing out how Dr. Jackie's skin is the only thing covering her bones. Like there's no meaty sustenance. Anyway, Simone and Quad apologize again and they hug it out in the name of sisterhood, but Simone is still mad and she's still hurt. So, that means we're going to have this conversation again. Heavenly confronts Toya about her opinion on Heavenly running for office. Heavenly is like do you know what whatever her title, state representative, do you know what a state representative does? And Toya's like, no, I just know your raggedy ass is not somebody I would be voting for. I feel like Toya is very valid. She's been on the butt end of a lot of Dr. Heavenly's nonsense. They've gone back and forth and been very low with each other. So it doesn't surprise me that she would be like, I won't be voting for you, bitch. And so, yeah, Dr. Heavenly is like, keep my son's name out of your mouth. No, that's not what we're doing, because your son is not a baby. And what he did was inappropriate and it met the blogs. So, now you're not showing up to places. And I think there's a way to just say, yeah, I found out about it after it happened. And I'm disappointed, that he would be conducting himself that way. But, he's my son. So I'm going to try to, support him as best I can. There's ways to say things to shut Toya up, but you go straight to the gutter. So this right here, this exchange, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm over here plugging things. This exchange with Toya, this her going right back to the same nonsense that she always does. So I think Toya's issues with Heavenly is valid. She said, you don't even maintain your friendships. How you going to do stuff for the people? She stood on business, Toya. Heavenly didn't back her down. And yes, Heavenly's threatening her with I know, her and Simone did the same thing. I know all about your business. Don't get me to start telling it. One thing we do know is that if Heavenly finds her way into any of these offices, she'll be telling, maybe, unless, it doesn't suit her to do so. So while the ladies are over here dressed in their underwear and things, the men are having a meetup, hosted by Cecil. And Brandy's husband wants advice, like, how do we manage our wives in this group? Your wife don't need a manager, sir. She seems to be managing herself just fine. I don't know what her husband does, but that's his introduction to getting to know the guys. And Eugene is basically like, don't get in the middle. Like, these wives be getting sometimes too real. Just support your wife. And King said, what happens if she's wrong? And Eugene said, just be on her side anyway. And, like Bobby does over there on Potomac. If Angel says she's not a catfish, and Bobby's like, don't worry about it. It's, no big deal. Even though he knows she's catfish. I think that's the type of thing that Eugene meant. Like, some stuff is not worth, arguing and fighting over. So Curtis is in his feelings because Toya went on Watch What Happens Live. And they showed that picture of him with his hand on Heavenly's waist. And Toya said that he be having his hands on too many people. He need to keep his hands to himself. And so he doesn't like that because Toya obviously, says something that made him look bad. But are you doing that, Curtis? Because back in the day, when y'all were at that party and you pulled Toya down on your lap and she kind of looked a little uncomfortable and then like tried to play it off because, well, what do I do now? And then Dr. Jackie went around saying that Toya sat in his lap. And I feel like, I don't know if we felt like that's what we saw. I feel like maybe we, for a while, were like, she sat in his lap because that's the way Dr. Jackie told the story. But what had happened was he pulled her down in his lap. And what do you do if you're like in your booty shorts hanging out at a, couple's vacation? They were probably on some island, somewhere. And then one of the husbands pulls you down on their lap. Dr. Jackie's husband. So, Curtis is like, you can't just let your wife support your wife in everything, even when she's wrong. Like, if your wife is out there saying things that aren't true, then you should correct it. And Eugene was like, yeah, I haven't experienced that. My wife hasn't been out here saying things that weren't true. Shout out to Eugene. Stand on business. Curtis is over here talking about, I usually don't start nothing, but I finish it. Yeah, well, you got finished. The man said you was handsy over here. And so maybe you should try to keep your hands to yourself. Eugene switched the conversation over to Dr. Heavenly because nobody worried about Curtis and his bag of bones. He ain't even worried about it. That's why he out here at the airport with women who are quite thick and meaty. Unlike the, Skeletor wife that he's married himself to. Eugene asked about Heavenly running for office. And, Damon is pretty much like, yeah, she's running for state representative. And if that's what she wants to do, I'm a supporter. And so that's pretty much where they left it, where the guy's like telling Dr. Damon, like how he's the best man on the planet for supporting his wife, even though they know, all of them know his wife is a hot mess and a big mouth, but they all want to see like how this is going to play out, as do we. Next week, Contessa has a birthday party, another players ball. We don't need any more players balls. So next year, 2026, we don't need any Cowboy Carters, and we don't need any more players balls. We don't need any more, what do you call it? Bridgerton. Yeah, let's figure out something else. Be original. Do something a little more unique. No 90s parties, no Freaknik, none of that. But yeah, Contessa's birthday is the players' ball. So we're going to critique her party because she usually has something negative to say when she walks in other people's parties. So I'm hoping she, yeah. And Simone is mad because she's paying all the bills, which is probably why she hates Quad so much, because she's concerned about Quad's mortgage. One thing we do know is Simone pays the mortgage at her house, at Cecil's house, and at these boys' house. And there's some conversation that's happening about finances. And, these boys they've been out of high school for a minute. So how long are they dragging these college things? And she's saying that they're going to have to contribute financially. And it becomes an argument with her and Michael, her youngest son. I don't think the other son says anything. So looks like he got a haircut. So we're glad about that. And she's upset because Cecil is not contributing to the conversation. Well, he's paying his rent too, so there's probably not a whole lot he could say. So she'll be doing more hollering and screaming, and hopefully we won't see her and Quad in the same room at the same time. So that's it, y'all. Whoo. Oh, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yeah, be looking for that. And I might go ahead and do Beverly Hills. Everything is kind of piled up on the weekend, so I'm gonna have to stretch it out as best I can. But in the meantime, y'all, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye, y'all.